If you've noticed some movement in your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator steering and you want to tighten that up, this Bilstein B8 5100 series steering dampener will be a great option to look into. Now this is going to be a good choice for the JT owner looking for an affordable way to not only upgrade their worn out or leaky factory stabilizer, but also upgrade with better performance for a better driving experience. Now sometimes when adding off-road tires and a more open treaded tire, the JT can start to feel a bit flighty, especially on the highway, and this is going to tighten that up for a more controlled experience. Now, I would like to mention that this will not be an end-all be-all solution to fix death wobble, but this is definitely going to help if you're feeling some small feedback or have an issue with wandering tires. This will feature a straightforward setup offering a lot of performance out of the design. Now, the stabilizer will help take the load off of the steering components, creating a smoother and a more responsive ride thanks to the gas-charged monotube design. Now, not only will the charged gas design help with dampening all of that lateral force, but it's going to be able to take the abuse in the long run by reducing that shock fade over time. Now, the stabilizer will also come with premium seals to prevent any leaking or pressure loss, especially if you're working the stabilizer really hard in off-road situations. This will have a large 46mm internal diameter smooth body construction for good dampening and heat dispersion to keep the stabilizer working efficiently over longer periods of time. This will also feature a zinc plating on top to prevent any corrosion underneath and resisting any off-road surface damage. Now, this is also going to come with OE style bushings on either end and will be a direct bolt on, so you won't have to worry about any modifications when it comes to this kit. This is going to come in at about $150, making it a very affordable option compared to some other choices. Now, compared to other options in the category, this is going to be more entry level or on the simpler side as far as the construction is concerned, which is great if you're not looking for a flashier or super high performance system. You just trust the basics and want something that's going to work for your JT with no questions asked. Now that will save you a bit of cash while still getting a lot of function and quality in the components, making this an awesome pick for your Gladiator. Install is going to be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 45 minutes to get this onto your JT. Now this should work with your factory hardware for a straightforward bolt-on install. However, there have been a few notes that the factory hardware can give you some trouble, so I do want to mention that it may be a good idea to pick up some spare hardware just to get this mounted up. Now speaking of the install, one of our customers here has installed this on their Gladiator and is going to walk you through what that process looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
For this install, here are the tools that we used. A 1/2 inch ratchet drive, 1/2 inch 18mm socket, 18mm wrench in case it's a little bit cumbersome getting your ratchet in there, and then a torque wrench for torquing down the new steering stabilizer. All right, here we are going to be installing a new steering stabilizer on a 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Let's get started. We're under the passenger side. There's 2 18mm bolts that we need to remove. One right here on the bottom of the knuckle, and the other one with a flag nut more centered on the axle. So we'll go ahead and break those free with our 18mm. One on the outside has a carriage bolt, so you don't have to tighten it or hold anything on the top. So we'll just go ahead and take this almost all the way out. We're going to retain all of the factory bolts, and we'll use them on the new Bilstein that I'm putting in. On the inner part of the axle, there is a flag nut that holds the back side. You also do not have to put a wrench on the other side. Again, we'll retain the 2 pieces of hardware here. Pop the carriage bolt out on the axle side and slide out our old steering dampener. Here is our side-by-side comparison of the OEM Mopar and the new Bilstein steering dampener. It is a Bilstein B8-5100 that we'll be putting back into the 2020 Jeep Gladiator. When reinstalling the new shock steering dampener, the reservoir side will be going to the passenger side. So we'll go ahead and get the carriage bolts placed through just to help hold it in place. And then what we need to do is we have to depress the rod all the way in to be able to get it to fit. This will take some pressure and some pushing on my part to get it to compress. When you do this, you're going to want to over compress it so you have time to thread the bolt through on this side as it rebounds. Now that both bolts are through there, we can put the nut, factory nut, back on, and the factory flag nut on the axle side. We'll tighten back down using our 18mm socket wrench. This side, I'm just having trouble getting the carriage bolt to square up inside the hole. We'll snug this up as well. And that is it. We got it installed. We'll come back with a torque wrench afterwards and torque it down to factory spec.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this Bilstein B8 5100 series steering dampener fitting all 2020 and newer JT Gladiators. And remember, for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.